Welcome to the Every Temple podcast. My name is Tony, and this is my co-host Janelle.
Hello.
And together we want to talk about every temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And today we are blessed to have a special guest with us. Our friend Julia has come to visit with us about her love for the Oakland Temple. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for coming, Julie.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
Awesome. Elder Stevenson said, "You are never lost when you can see the temple. The temple will provide direction for you and your family in a world filled with chaos. It is an eternal guidepost which will help you from getting lost in the midst of darkness." So we're excited to talk about the Oakland Temple today.
Yeah, this is a fun temple. They all are, but whatever.
I know. There's a lot of history in this temple. So before we jump in, let's just go over some temple news. The Toronto, Ontario Temple was finally rededicated on Saturday.
Nice.
Elder Holland did it. And he did a little video inviting the youth to go to the temple more. He said he'd meet us there. So how do we...
Expecting to see him.
How do we work that out with his office? Because I would do that.
He's going to meet us at the temple?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay, that's cool.
He'll meet you there. So
Okay.
I'm down for that if he wants to. And then they announced a new open house for a temple later this summer, the Farmington, New Mexico Temple. It'll be nice. We'll get there when we get there. But,
Yep.
I mean, there's many open houses between now and then.
It's just going to be a lot of them all the time now.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to try and keep up. All right, let's talk about today's temple. Julie, could you tell us a little bit about why you love the Oakland Temple?
Oh, I would love to. You know how we all seem to have like our temple, right?
Sure.
This is my temple. You know, it's a constant, like through my whole life. It was always there. And it's just something that I remember from my very beginnings, because that's where I went to church at the Interstate Center, right next to the temple. So every time we went to church, there it was. Every time I went to early morning seminary, every single day, went to that same church that was just adjacent to the temple. And so, you know, it was just there. That's where I was sealed in the temple. My grandpa was the sealer. And so I just have a lot of really happy, wonderful memories of this temple in my life. So yeah, I just love it.
Yeah.
Fun.
I didn't realize you were that close to it, like going to church and seminary on the grounds.
Yeah, like we'd pull out of our driveway, you know, so you can start the timer 7 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah,
7
really
minutes.
close.
Awesome. I love that. So I found another ebook online by Richard O. Cohen and Robert G. Larson called The Oakland Temple, A Portal to Eternity. That's where I got a lot of this history.
Okay.
So I'm just going to try and get through it. If you guys need to interject or add, please do.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, so the history of the Oakland Temple starts in 1846 when the ship, the Brooklyn, arrived in, they called it Yerba Buena then. This was San Francisco. When those saints got off the boat, they started the first newspaper, the first school, the first library, the first bank in California. And then they set up the economy for it and trading for the gold rush. So they were a huge influence in that area. Fast forward to 1924, Elder George Albert Smith is there in San Francisco on business for the Boy Scouts of America. And he's sitting on a hotel terrace and looking across the bay, and he just kind of zones out for a second. And then he's like, "I can almost see in a vision a white temple of the Lord high upon those hills, an ensign to all the world travelers as they sail through the Golden Gate into this wonderful harbor. A great white temple of the Lord will grace those hills, a glorious ensign to the nations to welcome our Father's children as they visit this great city." So that's kind of the groundwork for them getting this temple. I mean, it took a lot of years after that of them being like, "We're ready. We're ready."
Yeah, they had the land for a long time.
Yeah. When did they get the land? Like in the 30s?
Yeah.
Like 1937, I think.
Oh, yeah. This says in 1942, the government, the person who owned the property, they said he couldn't put the luxurious homes that he wanted
because
on
of
it.
the war.
So then he sold it.
Yeah.
So that says 1942.
He sold the church 18 acres for $18,000.
Yep.
The church then needed to buy 2 more acres for $18,000.
Oh.
Well, so that's what happens, I guess.
Pennies today.
Yeah. Sounds pretty good today. And then the Tri-Stake Center was built first. They decided they needed this gathering place. What did you call it? Interstate
Center.
Is
now, it may be Tri-Stake now.
I don't know.
But when I was, you know, growing up there, it was the interstate
It
center.
makes sense because there would be more than 3 stakes.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. The building seems really big.
Yeah.
Yes.
From
Tell us about
my
it.
descriptions that I read.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you've been there, so.
Yeah, so part of that is there's kind of like, it's all one building, it's all connected, but there is a normal chapel where a lot of the wards attend. And then there's also a lot of other buildings or a lot of other rooms where a lot of the branches in the area attend there as well.
Okay.
And then they have the actual interstate center, which is just this huge auditorium, has a balcony, and thousands of people can be seated there. So
I
we
think
had our state
1600,
conferences.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
that's
had
what I
our state conferences there. We had like musicals, the pageant that they had there at one point, and then it's all graced by just beautiful courtyards and palm trees, and then the visitor center is like across the parking lot, and then you've got the temple on the east south side.
So is this where the Temple Hill Symphony and Orchestra practice and perform there?
I believe so.
Yeah, and I think there's a choir that practices and performs there. It seems to be like multi-group use, and they're not members necessarily. It's a community. It's almost like a community center that is being used.
I think that was the purpose of when they built it. It was like, we need
Does
this.
that seem right?
I don't know so much about like the community use of it, but at least from the church membership, that's how it was used.
They just felt like they needed that community space before they needed a temple. So they built that first in 1959, and it has a basketball court as well. A big basketball court?
Yes. Yes, a really big gym.
The Warriors practiced there. That is a fun fact.
Cool. I didn't know that.
I mean, the church news put that in an article, and I was like trying to fact check it, and I don't know, but that's what the church news I trust. So
and
that's cool.
Dances there, and
very multi-use building. Very cool.
You didn't know that you were playing in the same the Golden State Warriors, did you?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go home and tell my basketball loving son.
Yeah, you gotta tell your sons that. Okay, and then they announced that the temple would be built in 1961. They had about 75,000 members at that time, and they were like nudging President McKay anytime he would come and be like, "Hey, we got the membership. We need the temple." So he finally announced it in January 1961, and then they set a fundraising goal for the stakes, and it was, for each stake was different based on their size, membership, and the vicinity to the temple. So one of the stakes had their goal. They met it in one day. They were just like, let's just do it. They did it all in one day. Done.
I think in total they raised $635,000.
Yeah, the goal was 500,000.
Yeah.
And they got way over that.
Well, the saints there, they're so generous and so faithful. Mm-hmm. And it just grew up in a ward there that embodied those two qualities. And so it doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, Julie, if they're like you,
right,
then they are amazing.
Yeah. It must be pretty similar. The architect for both of these buildings was Harold Burton, who we've seen before. He did Cardston and he did Laie.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Okay, I have some interesting thoughts from this man. He wanted very much to build a building with no windows. That was his life goal. He was in his late 70s at this point. He was just like, I want to build something with no windows. I think, this is what he says, I think it would be better, since we can do everything artificially, modern air conditioning and modern lighting would make it possible to provide a building with better air and better illumination artificially than by natural means. Would that be legal today? Can you build something with no windows? I have no idea. I didn't look that up, but
I mean, most of the temple windows can't open.
Right. Most buildings don't have open windows, but I'm just like, that is so weird. Anyway.
Well, I'd have to go in there to decide, because when I go to temples, and I prefer celestial rooms that have natural light over
That's true.
artificial light.
Yeah.
Have either of you been in this temple
I haven't
before?
been in
No.
it. I've been outside.
But it looks, they have pictures.
Yes, we have pictures.
Because we don't always have pictures, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
He did a really good job. The outside is based on Asian influence, but there's one central tower and 4 smaller towers, right? So they said it has kind of a nod towards Angkor Wat in Cambodia and the Taj Mahal. There's no murals inside. It was another decision he made because he had worked in the film industry, and he was like, if we have a film, we don't need murals. We can, but he did huge screens. Are they still huge? Huge and like round on the sides to make it feel like you were really there.
Okay, so maybe you can help us now because maybe they changed it all up. But it seemed like they had a projector that projected scenes on the wall. And so when you were like, I'm guessing this is what it was like when you were in the garden room, you'd have a garden scene. And then when you moved into a different room, you'd have a different scene.
They didn't move, but I love that idea.
Yeah, they didn't move, but you're right. That's sorry. So,
oh, you mean
when the video
yes.
changed to a different spot,
yes,
then it would change the
Is
projection.
That true?
Well, I'll have to look in my notes now. Yeah, look here. To simulate a progressive presentation, slide projectors were used to shine photographic murals on the walls, representing the different stages of the endowment.
I love that. We should do that everywhere.
It sounds fabulous, but this temple was my temple before getting married, and because my whole married life has been in Utah, so I didn't regularly go as an adult there.
Okay.
So I was there. My space was the baptistry.
Okay.
That's where my grandparents were. And,
okay.
So yeah, it'd be really interesting to know. And then with it being rededicated, things may have changed.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. I don't know if they still do that.
I don't
also
know.
Also slide
either.
projectors.
Yeah.
But I really like that idea. Like we have the power. We have the technology to do this.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes, because when I bring this up sometimes, the Tabernacle Choir, they do their stuff on the back of behind them, they'll do
lights and stuff.
But it's not just lighting, it's like interactive film, whatever they put back there, the illustrations and just all of it. It's really gorgeous. You can do a lot of really gorgeous things. So I don't know. Yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
That is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping to be there this summer. So I will let you know.
Yes, please update us.
Yeah.
So Brother Burton, who was the architect, he also designed the sculptural elements on the outside. They didn't have a separate artist. He did that.
Oh, okay.
And there was a whole to-do about getting them on the building without drilling any holes in it.
Okay.
And they had to pray for revelation about how to get it up there and how to fasten it. And it was a whole thing. But I can't go into that because it would take an hour.
So are you talking about the actual, when you look at the Oakland Temple, it has, the sculpture of Jesus and the 12 there, the original 12 apostles.
Yeah, so on one side it's the New Testament, on the other side it's Book of Mormon.
I don't know about the Book of Mormon.
On the other side, you better walk around.
Well, do they still let people walk around the top?
No, because of safety. Somebody mentioned a terrorist attack, and I was like, tell me more about that. But I couldn't find more about that. So I will. Maybe you should sneak up there.
As a child, it was magical because you would go up the stairs and into the courtyard, and then they had these stairways that were kind of back through these passages.
Were they secret?
No, but you would go, and then you'd go up the stairs up to the top level, and then there was this beautiful courtyard, up on the top, and you could walk all around, and there were all kinds of flowers and plants. Wow. But then it had the gorgeous view of the bay, and you could see into San Francisco on a clear day, see the Golden Gate, see the Bay Bridge.
Wow.
And that was just that was our place to go.
Oh, for sure.
Be able to go up there. I mean, sometimes we even did Sunday school. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
That's funny.
But yeah, really, really beautiful. So it's too bad they don't let people go up there anymore.
So the Cardston Temple had a courtyard like that. You go up some stairs and it has that little... Anyway, it's done by the same guy. So he had a vision.
Well, I read something about Brigham Young had a vision of temples with waterfalls on them and terraces with planted with trees and everything. So I think that was maybe what his inspiration was. But also the conference center, they did it again. Like how a temple should be a mountain. And
so did they just close it off? Like, do you know what's up there?
Now?
Yeah, now.
No, I don't.
I wonder if they keep it beautiful just because, I don't know. Or maybe they paved over everything.
Yeah, because like Cardston, they changed it. Because they added on. And it kind of, I think it turned into like locker rooms or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll be excited to go this summer and talk to the missionaries in the visitor center and get an idea.
Ask some questions.
That'll be great. Okay, and then the oxen are the same as in Cardston. He just copied and pasted those.
Okay, because the font, the actual font, I'm like, I recognize that.
Okay.
Because it is the Cardston font too.
Yeah.
So, but are the oxen, are they a different color?
They're gold, I think.
They're gold.
Do you know, Julie?
Okay.
I actually don't even remember. It's not terrible.
We love oxen. We like to talk about the oxen every time.
Because in Cardston, the oxen are like, I don't want to say they're granite, but they're...
Oh, are they like gray?
Stone, maybe.
Stone. That's interesting. Okay. But we don't know what. Oakland. I thought they were gold.
Hopefully I'm not saying something wrong either.
Yeah.
Well, gold, silver, granite,
Right.
marble, they
Yeah.
all had an important purpose.
Oh, they're like brown.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
bronze,
Cardston's
kinda.
is definitely not that color, but this...
This all looks the same.
And so maybe they still look the same, but they're not made out of the same material.
Yeah. Listeners, we have this up on our Instagram if you want to go check it out. Very cool. And then the towers, they're perforated and covered, it says, in blue glass mosaic and gold leaf. So it's a striking effect in the sunlight, and at night will be illuminated from the interior, emitting rays of lacy light which stream through the perforations.
Okay, what does it look like at night?
Oh gosh, it is gorgeous. You can see it from on a clear, day. You can see it from San Francisco, from the from down into like the East Bay, just different places. But it is just magnificent. Did you come across a story about the church turning off the lights? And then basically the community was like, you cannot turn off the lights because especially the sailors that were coming in, through from the ocean into the bay, they used that temple, those lights as like a guide. And so all of a sudden the temple lights were off. I can't remember if it was during COVID or if it was, it could have been the renovation, or maybe it was just a way that they were trying to save money. But I just remember hearing about the sailors just saying, like, we use that as a guide, and how poignant is that for our lives?
That is so cool.
And so then, the lights were on after that, after all the complaints of, hey, we have to have.
Cool.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah, and then how in the scriptures it talks about, like the cloud and the fire, and so, at night it's just so bright. It's just such a beacon. It is one of the most important places in that area that you can just see from so many different spots. Pretty fantastic.
That land was such a great piece of land because it's just such a landmark.
Yeah, it's a perfect spot on the hill. Ben and I went, and I looked, I was like, when did we go? Like 2019? It's 2017. It was like so long ago. And I don't really remember that much, except that we had a very chatty Uber driver on the way back to San Francisco. He just told us his life story.
Did you just go look at it? Or?
Yeah, I think we went and walked around. I do have a picture of it. I think that's what I remember is we got a picture. It was really pretty. When they were finishing up construction, they were trying to get it ready for the open house. It was down to the deadline. They were like finishing things at 4 a.m. the night before the open house.
They always are.
No, but listen, they didn't have any chairs set up. The guys that were coming to install the chairs showed up at like 4 p.m. and they were like, where's your installation team? And they're like, we got it. 2 guys, 1 old guy, 1 young guy. And they had brought sleeping bags because they knew they'd be there all night. And they're like, we'll get it done.
Wow.
So they put them in there in the temple. They get to work. And these guys are like, oh, let's take a break and go get some dinner. They're locked in. Like the gates are closed. They can't get out. So somebody left them some cold food or whatever. And they finished. They did it.
Wow.
And then they left and they never came back.
Hey, wow.
They installed all the chairs in one night.
Good job, guys.
And then also like the fountain was finished the night before. The sod was laying the day before. Like it was a whole, like I'd be nervous. The temple president, he was very sure it was a miracle.
Yeah, it usually is.
Well, just going back to what it looks like at night, how in the Washington, D.C. temple, you're driving along the freeway and all of a sudden the temple's just boom, right there. And that's how it is with the Oakland Temple. You're driving along the highway, either from either direction, the boom, there's the temple.
Wow.
And it's pretty magnificent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then those
Nice.
fountains are just gorgeous. They have one on each end, and people go there like to take their wedding pictures, to have family pictures. It's
just random people.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah.
People not of our faith. So it's like a gathering place. Like people are drawn to it.
Yeah.
And originally there was a waterfall from the building down into the pond. That caused some problems, but then they fixed it. And it's for part of the renovation. I think they restored that. So it's a waterfall into the pond.
Because I think they had turned it into flower beds.
Yeah.
Now they switched it back.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it. Let's make that effort.
Yep.
The open house was only 4 weeks in October of 1964, and they saw almost 350,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a lot.
Yeah. That was a lot.
That was nice.
In 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And they originally only were going to do it for 3 weeks, and they added a week.
So I think this is the biggest one so far, right?
The biggest open house? I haven't been keeping track, but I believe you.
I don't know. That just seems like a lot of people.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot. And LA had a lot. I think LA might have had 5,000, but 500,000. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. They had, at the dedication, 6 sessions, and it was the first time they ever used the closed circuit television to get to another building.
Yeah.
So they took it to the Interstate Center so that more people could participate. And that way kids could be there as well, which is nice. Oh, and in the news release about the open house, they asked women not to wear pointy heels to not damage the carpet.
Okay.
They probably didn't have the plastic on like we do now. Even still, though.
For the open house, maybe they didn't have the footies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're supposed to put the footies on.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep going unless you guys have anything. At the dedication, you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. November 17th through 19th, 1964, David O. McKay is 92 years old. He's had a couple strokes in the last year or two. And they're like, maybe you shouldn't be going. But they didn't say anything. And he didn't make plans for anyone else to take over. So he got to go. And he was in a wheelchair. And he stood at the pulpit for an hour unassisted. And he gave a talk, and then he did the prayer.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Here, I have a few quotes of people that were there. I'm sure that you agree with me that prayers of the saints have been answered with the presence and participation here of our great leader and prophet, David O. McKay. When it appears to some that he might not be able to be present, it seems to me that with each successive session, he gathers strength and becomes more vigorous and more impressive than ever. We witnessed a miracle as the mantle of the prophet rested so unmistakably upon him, who has been ordained to lead us. I am satisfied that our Father in heaven buoyed up and directed and inspired our president, our leader, and our prophet. I think that's Elder Hinckley. He's showing up at all kinds of dedications at this point. But
That's where Temple started.
Very early. Okay, so I just have one quote from the dedication. This edifice, the 15th, which has now been erected to thy holy name, is a monument testifying to the faith and loyalty of the members of thy church in the payment of their tithes and offerings. We are grateful that the members of the church recognize that the payment of tithes and offerings brings blessings and make possible the proclamation of truth and contributes to the carrying out of thy purposes through the building of chapels, tabernacles, and eventually temples wherever the church is organized. Now that reminds me, in Nauvoo, they started the tithing system and saying, if you pay your tithing, you will get to go to the temple. And that's how it kind of started as a temple recommend question, I guess. But at this time, the church had been building a ton of stuff and not super able to pay for it all. The church was not what we know it as today.
Right.
They ended up in the 60s being quite a bit in debt.
Okay.
Due to lots of building projects.
Okay.
So I think this was a little reminder to pay your tithing, and the church and you'll be blessed.
Right.
And the church will be able to do more.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, look at what it does now.
Yeah.
Builds all the temples everywhere. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it is. Okay, give us a couple stories.
Okay. I was interested in some of the artwork. So we're getting away from the murals, but they always have such beautiful artwork in the temples. And they had a list of all the artwork. But do you remember, Julie, there is an Adam and Eve and a Christ in Gethsemane, both in bas relief.
I don't remember seeing that.
Is that original, or is that after they did all the refurbishing and rededicated
I think it was original. It seemed original. So like I'm imagining, like, do you remember in Idaho Falls, the trees kind of in
carved.
the garden room were a little bit carved. So I'm thinking maybe I guess they didn't move from room to room. So,
right. Oh, I should say there was just 2 rooms.
Yeah.
2 endowment rooms with 250 people in each.
Yeah.
And then renovated to be more. But
okay,
that's how it started.
Here's your assignment.
Go take
to the temple and find this Adam and Eve and Christ in Gethsemane as a bas relief,
like a sculpture.
A sculpture on the wall.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I will look for it.
Okay, and that just sounded beautiful to me, is what that sounds like. And also, there's Christ Visiting the Poor by Minerva Teichert. Is that how you say that?
Teichert?
Teichert.
That's how I've always heard it.
Anyway, I like her stuff.
Yeah,
so
and I think that one is original.
Yeah, it probably is.
Because, anyway, that's amazing.
And the visitor center used to kind of be it was attached, like it was a wing of the temple, and then they changed it.
And built one across the parking lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So do you ever remember the visitor center being anywhere other than where you remember it?
Oh, I'm trying to remember, because I am thinking that all I remember is the visitor center kind of across from the temple.
Okay.
Or across from the parking lots.
So at some point it used to be like kind of in the temple, but somehow they must have sectioned it off, and then they built the other one. So yeah, and it seemed like they did a renovation in 1988, but didn't rededicate it.
Okay.
And they made more. Let's see, 2 ceiling rooms that were located on either side of the celestial room were converted to small instruction rooms, giving the temple 2 large and 2 small instruction rooms. And they replaced the ceiling rooms on the 3rd floor.
Okay. That's when they made it a little more efficient. Yeah,
it looks like it was closed for 2 years, from 1988 to 1990.
But they just didn't rededicate. Wait, when did they rededicate it? In 19?
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well,
whatever. They're fun facts, but I just love thinking about just the meaning of the temple, or all temples really, and the work that goes on there and the spirit that's felt there. I had one experience when I was a child, being in the Interstate Center. There was this back parking lot that you could go through and drive by the whole back of the Interstate Center, and then down and around, past the side of the temple. And I remember looking out the window, and Spencer W. Kimball was the prophet at the time, and he was there at the temple, and he was in his limousine or whatever, and he was getting out of the limo, and he had his entourage there. Just being able to look out the window and see the prophet there. It's a really special memory for me there.
That is an amazing memory.
That's really neat. Yeah. That reminds me, when it was rededicated in 19, I guess Elder Bednar's from that area.
I didn't realize that.
He is.
Do you know what city?
I didn't know that. No, but now you're going to go look it up, aren't you? Anyways, when he was there, he says, while the beauty of the temple was immense, Elder Bednar said the focus should be, and always is, on the ordinances and the covenants of the temple, rather than the edifice itself.
Well, he undercuts my podcast ideas all the time. I saw a video that he did, well, not a video, like a clip of one of his meetings where he's like, we shouldn't be calling them temples. We should be calling them houses of the Lord. And I was like, Elder Bednar, I just started this podcast. Can't change it now.
Well, President Nelson did have a talk in 2022 called Focus on the Temple.
Yes.
So,
okay, so we're still okay for a little while.
It's not like headline news yet, so
you have to wait till he becomes prophet, and then he's going to change. No, I'm sorry. No, but I like that reminder. I like learning about the temples, and actually what I really love is learning the history and the people who use it, and how much they love the temple because they want to worship God there and to fulfill, help their families that have moved on and their families currently. And that is the place to do it. And that's what I love about temples. So
thank you. Julie, do you have any special memories of maybe like your wedding or a special day at the temple?
Yeah. The definitely the day that Sam and I were sealed in the Oakland Temple is really special to be able to have my grandfather be the sealer. And a lot of people don't get the opportunity to have somebody that's related to them, or even somebody that they know. And so it was a beautiful sunny day, and I was one of the oldest in my family, and so all of my siblings were out waiting for us. And I just remember just the beautiful memory of having my parents there. We lost my dad not long after.
Oh.
And just remember having him share how proud he was and how beautiful I looked. And that's a special memory. Yeah, just the beautiful feeling of knowing that our marriage is off to a wonderful start, being sealed in the temple and be together forever and be able to build a family that can have those special blessings. And so that was really, really special, obviously. But then I think it's more of, Elder Bednar talks about the consistency and about how important it is to have those reminders over and over again. And I think that that's why I love that temple so much, is because of where I grew up and being able to see it every day. Right. And having that constant reminder of that temple is there, the meaning of it, the covenants that are made there, and knowing that that you can be with your family forever, and knowing that through those covenants, Jesus Christ will bless and empower you, throughout your life. So that gives you strength. Yeah. And so definitely, through my childhood and through my youth, having that strength to stay strong and firm, especially in an area where, sometimes it's hard when you don't have a lot of saints around you, and you go to a school where, you kind of stand out because there's just so few of people that believe as you do. You need to have that strength to remember Christ and how he can help you and bless you.
Yes. Beautiful.
Because even though there's a lot of members in the area, there's a lot of people also.
Yeah.
So like when you're going to high school, like how many members might have been at your high school? Do you know?
Well, my graduating class was about 125, and there were probably five of us. Okay. So it was a very small class. I was in the Piedmont area, and so the schools were smaller.
Okay.
But still, it's it's little.
Excellent.
But you can still shine your light wherever you go.
Yeah, we have, like, before we moved here, our kids were, there were still a lot of members, but the friends that my daughter had weren't members, but they were so good at just being good people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Christmas lights.
Oh, yeah. Also then after Christmas lights, pageant.
Yeah.
Did you ever participate in the pageant?
I was never old enough to participate in the pageant. I feel like it was, I don't know. Do you have any information about when it stopped? Or?
In 2007, I think.
Okay.
Does that seem right?
Yeah, I don't know if I was just involved in, because I was in a lot of musical theater in high school, but I was never in the pageant. No. Yeah. I remember going to see it.
This pageant was about the restoration, right?
I actually don't remember.
That's what I got from it. Okay. Like Mesa's is Easter.
Yeah.
But okay. So if this one's about the restoration, and it's indoors, which is unique.
In the theater.
Yes. Yeah. Is it more like a theater, like an auditorium, like type room?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you said it has a balcony.
I was picturing
the balcony up, for the spectators or the people to sit, and then you have your slanted floor, so it goes up, so it has the tiered seating. Then it definitely has the stage and lights and curtains, and so it was multifaceted use to be able to have productions or state conference. Actually, my dad's funeral was in that building in the actual Interstate Center. It had a divider to close off, so it could make like a more smaller space.
Okay.
Wow. And did you guys go to the pageant? Do you remember going to it? Okay.
I do remember going to it, but I'm old. I'm old.
It was a while ago.
No, that's fine. I just wondered if you had memories of that. Okay, and then Christmas lights. Is it just like crazy?
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. All the palm trees were lit all the way up the trunks, and into the fronds, bushes, and the lining of the walkway up to the temple. From the minute you go into the gates, you have this whole big garden area that just spans all the way up to the temple. You've got the waterfall going down the temple, and then into the fountain, and then kind of follows down to the next fountain, down to the gate. Yeah, so I don't believe that the lights they're not on the temple itself.
No.
Just on the grounds.
And is it a big draw community wise? Like
yes.
It's always crowded kind of thing, like Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
I wonder how many visitors they get in the visitor center.
Oh, I think it's probably pretty busy. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
There's a Christus in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any stories about that Christus. We did LA. It was a little crazy.
A few years ago we went. My children are in a choir, and they performed in the visitor center there and sang some beautiful.
Cool.
That's fun.
Faith-filled songs. But anyway, at Christmas time, they have the nativity scene as well, and they have the bridges that go over the little river that spans from the fountains and the waterfall, and so everything. How
good memories there.
Just the church does such a good job at providing just a wonderful experience for us to feel Christ's Spirit.
Yeah.
Out in the extra mile. I have a fun fact. It's not very reverent. I have an irreverent fun fact. After the original dedication, the front doors stopped working, requiring patrons to enter through a side door for years.
For years?
That's what it said.
No. Dang doors.
That's interesting because, growing up, I felt like the door to go in was always on the side.
So you always went in the side door. Yeah. I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe they liked it better.
It's more intimate.
Yeah.
You don't need all that hoopla. Anyway, temple nicknames. They call it Temple Hill. Are there any other nicknames for that temple? Like Beacon? What did I call it?
Yeah. Beacon on a hill?
Well, that's what they call the LA temple. What's this book called?
One temple have the
This
same
one's
name?
more of a hill than LA. This book was called Portal to Eternity, but that's not really a temple nickname.
No. I'll call it a beacon.
Okay.
That sounds perfect.
Well, if the sailors are using it, that's what it's in the area now, the Sacramento and Feather River temples are operating. San Jose Temple is in planning phases. Reno is also operating. And this temple district is 27 stakes in Northern California. But that cut down quite a bit. When I read when the Sacramento Temple opened, it really took a lot of patrons from this temple. And they had a few years of struggle to build it back up again.
Yeah. I guess, they built big temples because they only built a few.
Right.
But now that we're building them everywhere. Yeah.
You got to fill them up.
Yeah.
What else?
One of the things, if you go, you'll see the pictures on the Instagram and Facebook, but it's really beautiful in there. Like they want, I'll just read this. The interior of the temple is carefully restrained in its ornamentation, each material minimally altered and finished to show its intrinsic beauty. So they really just wanted the wood and the granite to show its own beauty. They just wanted the original color, so they only sealed it. They didn't stain anything. Okay. And they just kept it minimal with geometric designs, just minimal designs, and they just really showcased the actual wood and stone, and it is really beautiful. And anyway.
I think this architect, he really liked Frank Lloyd Wright style. We talked about that in Cardston. But he also designed all of the furniture, which is something Frank Lloyd Wright did as well. All the furniture is made unique for that building, so that it suits it.
Yeah.
And it's the way he wants it.
Okay.
He really went all out with his no-windowed building.
Okay. And then did they add a couple windows?
Did you see windows?
I think that, they...
Oh, they did later.
In the 90s. Or no, 2018. I think they added it just to like the main entrance or something. Oh. Something minimal. Yeah. They added a couple windows.
So, such an interesting decision that he made there.
Yeah.
He wanted an artificial building.
Well, they were showing a film. They didn't want to fool around with the light. There you go.
They did have that problem where they couldn't make the LA temple dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway.
There you go.
Anything else, Julie? Any other?
Well, I just wanted to share, back in 1989 when the San Francisco earthquake happened.
Yes.
I was working in San Francisco at the time. I was in high school. I was working for a friend's dental office. And so when the earthquake struck just right after 5 p.m., I was walking, across the street, And basically, because of the earthquake, the BART system shut down, the bridges shut down. One of the bridges collapsed, the top level collapsed onto the bottom level in one place. My dad was on the bridge at the time.
Oh.
Luckily, he was like a half mile before or behind the collapse. But really, everything stopped.
Yeah.
And and so here I was stuck in San Francisco as a 17-year-old, and it got dark, and what are we going to do? I was with my boss at the time, and so luckily I wasn't by myself, but I just remember going down to the ferry landing because that was the only way home was on the ferry, and being able to look across and see the temple across there, in the night with the lit up, and knowing that everything's going to be okay. And the temple reminded me that there is one way home, and it's through Christ, and the temple teaches of Christ. And then being able to get home on that ferry, that one way home, and so the temple is our way home.
I love that.
Yeah, beautiful.
How scary but enlightening that experience would have been.
Yeah, that must have been a comfort to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, and I think the temple there it's a comfort to the community, and it's a blessing.
Nice.
So.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, we're going to do our facts and stats.
Yeah, that was a beautiful thing to end on.
Yes.
So do that, and I think we're good.
Okay. This temple was announced January 23rd, 1961. The groundbreaking and site dedication was May 26, 1962, and it was dedicated November 17th through 19th, 1964 by David O. McKay. This would be the last temple he dedicates.
Mm-hmm.
The rededication after the renovation was June 16th, 2019 by Dallin H. Oaks. The site is 18 acres. It has a central spire surrounded by 4 smaller spires, 4 instruction rooms, 7 sealing rooms, and 1 baptistry, 80,157 square feet, and it's 170 feet high, no Moroni. And anything else? Last chance?
I think we're good.
All right. All right. Thank you, Julie, for being with us. And thank you, listeners, for being with us as we discuss the Oakland, California Temple. If you have more stories about this or another temple, please share it with us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at Every Temple Podcast. And if you learned something, please share this podcast with a friend. We're available anywhere podcasts can be downloaded. We will see you in the next episode where we talk about the Ogden, Utah Temple. If you want to learn more about why we build temples and the role they play in our religion, please visit churchofjesuschrist.org/temples. We are not sponsored by or affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Thank you.